Presenting here with EYT Media. I'm here at Clarion University with the newest member of the Clarion University coaching staff, Ben Bevevino, the new women's track and field head coach. Ben, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
A little bit of a legacy going on here with the Bevevino family and Clarion University. It really started with your grandfather, David "Red" Bevevino, who was an All-American football player. Your dad has had his footprints all over Clarion University athletics, first as a diver, then as the women's track and field coach, now as the interim assistant athletic director. What does it mean, first of all, to you, knowing the legacy of the Bevevino family, and you even ran here?
Yeah.
Talk about just the legacy of the Bevevino family in Clarion University and what it means to you.
Well, so first, obviously starting with my grandpa. Well, growing up with him and hearing all these stories about, I played football for Clarion, the Lions Bowl. I heard stories about the Lions Bowl, the 1952 Lions Bowl, I don't know how many times. And then, of course, with my dad, he was also pole vaulter on the track team his freshman year. But he was like 7, 8-time All-American in diving. I grew up with a love of this area. I moved up here whenever I was 5. And I was up on the university all the time, and people just knew who I was without me knowing anybody else. They knew my name. So I was always connected with this. Ron Ryder, whenever he was here, from a very young age, he was very supportive of me. I'd come up to all his basketball camps. So I had a great love for this school, basically, from the time I moved up here. Even before I moved up here, I knew stuff about Clarion University because that's where my family is. And I always thought we've done good things. Even at the high school, the same thing, where my dad was there, my mom was there, my sister's working there. I think my family's always tried to bring the best of our capabilities and bring the best out of the school by offering to do a whole lot of stuff. We always feel like we can help people. So that's one of the reasons I came back. I went to Teal my freshman year, but I knew I wanted to do track, and I wasn't really doing that at Teal. So I came up here and was basically trying to represent for my family. Trying to be the 3rd All-American at the school. That's a long shot for me in track and field. But it was something that I wanted to do well, and I knew I had support up here, not just from my family being up here, but almost everybody in the university. We know a lot of the people in this town that work up here, and they've always been very good to us, so I just wanted to try to continue everything that's happened and keep a good name for my family, not screw anything up and have people get mad and get run out of town.
So what does it mean to you now to be the head coach?
Well, being the head coach is great. I love this program. I want Clarion to be at the top of the conference now. That's a long shot. But I want to bring, it's more of a continuation of what my dad's been doing. He's here for the athletes, first off. He's a great mentor for all of the athletes. And that's the first job. That's the first job for any coach, really, is we need to get these kids through school and have them learn how to handle a bunch of situations that they're going to encounter outside of life. And that's following my father. That's what I would like to do that he does very, very well. Now, on the track side, or the athletic side of it, coaching them and just being athletes is something that I love too. I love the science behind the sport. That's why I went and got my exercise science degree, master's degree. And to implement my visions, which aren't a whole lot different than my father's. I was actually up here running his sprints program for a number of years, and I'm still learning stuff. But to see what kind of success I can have as running my own program, at the high school level it was different. I had success there, but it's a much different. We've got 12 weeks, maybe. I don't even know if the season was that long. Whereas here, we're going to be starting up. Hopefully, I can get them started next week. Within a couple weeks, we get started. We're going to have a full preseason that high school just doesn't have. And I think with my background, the knowledge I have in both the exercise science and just my overall experience in this sport, I can get some really good things out of these girls, and I want them to be able to see that. You know, I don't know how the rest of the conference looks at Clarion, but I want them to be scared of us. Not necessarily scared, but no, if we're coming to this meet, we're coming to perform well. And that's something that I would like us to be better than we are right now. Not knocking anything that's happened, but I think we can start doing some of the little things better where, you know, I just had a meeting with an athlete and we talked about the things outside of practice. And that's something that I will put more of an emphasis on that these girls aren't necessarily used to. And I think that's really going to help these girls out, give them a lot of self-confidence, just knowing, you know, I can go and handle these workouts. Almost all college athletes can handle the workouts, but I'm doing the things outside of practice that are going to make me better. And that in turn is going to make our team better. And eventually, you know, I'm breaking all kinds of personal records. I might be getting to the national meet. That's what I look forward to as being a coach. And then just being here at Clarion this is my hometown. I love this town. I want the whole town to be known as, oh, they've got good, you know, Coach Weibel at football that just brought up that football program great now. And I think people see that in the town. You know, it's not just, oh, Clarion's got a good football team. That just boosts the whole town's reputation up. And I'd like to do the same thing here with the track program.
You have an advantage that maybe some new coaches wouldn't. You're very familiar with the program. I mean, obviously your dad was the previous head coach. You spent a lot of time around this program as well as a volunteer assistant. Does having that put you maybe a little up more ahead of the game than maybe somebody who would have come in without any familiarity?
I definitely think so. It's here, I know, you know, the junior and senior class, I've already coached all those girls. So I know the team. They're comfortable with me. They know the type of training we're going to do because I was a bunch of their sprints hurdles. They know what I bring to the table, and they're comfortable with it. And then another thing, just from being around here, is I know all the area coaches. I was at the high school level for how long? Like 7 years. So I know all these local coaches. If they've got some good talent, I would like to think that I can talk them into coming here. But just it's so much easier the transition is not going to be a difficult transition for these athletes. Where whenever I was an athlete up here, I went through 3 different head coaches in my 4 years of competition, and the transitions, they were tough. You know, we went from Coach Mooney to Coach Caulfield to Coach Resch. Coach Resch and Caulfield worked together, so that transition wasn't hard. But the one between Coach Caulfield and Coach Mooney was a difficult one. You know, we completely changed some stuff. I didn't know how to handle all of Coach Caulfield's workouts. I would get injured, and those are the type of things that will happen in a transition from, you know, just 2 completely new coaches that aren't familiar with the program. And I think that's going to be a huge advantage. I know I've had the support of a lot of the athletes that have had me as a coach. They've wanted me here really bad, and know that with me here they can perform well and they're comfortable with it. They don't have to go into it worrying about what's he going to do, what are his rules, you know, what are we going to have to do for practice even, and outside of practice. I mean, it's just a continuation, which I think it's going to be a great thing rather than having to come into my own program and just completely clear things out and start all over again.
Do you see any possible negatives? Like, do you feel like there may be some athletes that are like, oh, he just got the job because of his dad, even though, you know, obviously your resume speaks for itself. Do you worry about that at all, or is that something that you've thought about?
Yeah, oh, definitely. You know, first worried about even being able to get this job because of that situation. And so the one area that I haven't technically coached a lot of, I've gone to multiple coaching clinics for, but in the throws, where my dad spent a lot of time with them, I can see them not feeling as comfortable with me. You know, I haven't coached, been like a just strict throwers coach. The only area in track that I haven't done. Just strictly that. I mean, I've coached multiple throwers in high school that did well, but I am worried about that. And on top of that, just people in the town, even like, if they don't think I was fit for this position, that is something that I am concerned with.
Just natural, obviously.
Yeah.
When you look at the recruiting aspect of things, and this isn't to take anything away from your dad, who I've known for a long time, being younger, do you think you might be able to connect with the high school athlete maybe a little bit more than an older coach can?
Yeah, I definitely think. I mean, he relates very well with all manners of student, all ages. He was the guidance counselor for however long he did that, long time. But I do, like down at Cal, where I just was last semester, I spent a lot of time just interacting with the athletes. You know, I wasn't this head coach that was looking down on them, forcing them to do stuff. I was kind of a friend. But so I can relate to, you know, the difficulties they're going through. It wasn't that long ago I was in college. I know the hardships of, you know, what they're expected to do in all their classes while trying to maintain a social life, while also trying to be an athlete. I fully understand that stuff. And the way things have changed, I'm sure I don't know what the college life was like back in the 70s, but I'm sure it's definitely changed, and I can relate to what college high school athletes are going through nowadays.
You know, you talk about bringing Clarion to that level where the rest of the conference, you know, at least respects what's going on. Obviously, there's been hurdles at Clarion monetarily. Some of that is getting better. When you look at it versus, say, compared to California, where you just came from, or in Edinburgh, or a Lock Haven, or a Slippery Rock, where the programs that have been established and are there, how do you overcome some of the challenges when people look at Clarion as not being a program like where you want it to be?
That's tough. It's tough. It's going to be tough. But I know we have a very good group of athletes here right now that I'm hoping with just 1 year under my coaching, we improve in our conference standings, and I think we can. Even down at Cal, they've got a small roster of athletes. We've got more athletes actually on the team here than Cal did. So I think if we can get the top tier athletes of ours just to perform at a higher level than they're used to, and they're definitely capable of it. I hope that I can instill some confidence in them, that to know, like, you can do these things. You are okay. You can run with a majority of the people in this conference. It's not that they're just that much better. You know, everybody came out of high school running similar times. I mean, you get some, you know, Slippery Rock and Shippensburg that have just a very big roster. But all the other schools are kind of facing the same things. And I think that if we can get them performing now, which I fully believe they will, that'll open up, especially in this area where these athletes, you know, in District 9 can see, like, oh, Clarion's track program is not something that's just, oh, we go join the track team and have fun and do whatever, but they're a competitive track team. And they can go do things, and I can go get more opportunities. That's kind of what I would like to sell the whole college life on, just the opportunities that are provided for you, even outside of the athletic team. I would like to start going on the athletic team. I would like to start taking some trips to some of the bigger meets. And, you know, if we have quality athletes to take to, you know, a Penn Relays meet, and every night, like, we're going to hopefully go on a spring break trip somewhere that's a bigger meet, and trying to get in just every now and again, even hopefully one in the indoor season, just a big meet where these people get to compete at a higher level against higher level athletes, but we also get to go out and experience some of the world. You know, I'll just use Cal for example, just because that's my most recent.
Sure.
You know, we went to New Jersey for cross country, which we will be doing here at Clarion next week, I believe. Indoor season, we went to like Staten Island. Outdoor, we went down to William and Mary. So you take these trips that people would like to go on. And that's just more incentive to be like, oh, I can go somewhere, see bigger competition, see more of the world, you know, New York City and Colonial Williamsburg. Like, those things are just great experiences to have. Besides, outside the track part of it, just the experience of being in these new places. And that's something that I would like to do with this team, and hopefully that's something that they see too. Like, oh, I get these opportunities that I wouldn't have. If I wasn't on the track team, I wouldn't have this opportunity to go here, experience this. And I think those things will help to make the team better as well.
Well, Ben, thanks for taking some time to meet with us here on EYT Media, and good luck with everything you're doing.
Thank you, Chris.